I'm not making this video for likes, shares, or anything in the nature. Again, it's just to get whatever is on my mind just out there. So, uh, I was on Instagram and unfortunately Facebook, and I was seeing pictures of suicide pods. So, long story short, a suicide pod is like the, to me, it's like the politically correct version of death row. You know, you're sentenced to death by lethal injection. And that's what the function of the suicide pod is. Instead of the law doing it for you, you're doing it yourself. For starters, or I should have led with that actually, but um, suicide is a big issue. People feel down, they feel defeated, and they feel they have no one to talk to or to trust. Like I have once upon a time. I am seeking help. I'm still currently seeking help, and every day is it's a new day of progression. But when someone is feeling like that, whether it's a cry for help or, because sometimes people say they're gonna, kill themselves because they're looking for some type of attention. But that's what it is right there. Attention. They need someone to talk to whatever they're feeling, they just need someone to be a listening ear. You know what I mean? So, take suicide seriously. You know, there's someone that you don't know that's probably committing suicide right now, and there's tens, thousands of different opinions on how people view suicide, but suicide is a serious issue. So just be that listening ear. Now, pushing that aside, um, here is what my opinion on suicide and how society or the law views suicide. So, my opinion on suicide is that it takes a strong person to do that, because as far as human nature goes, if we had to choose two options, option one is to take someone else's life for whatever reason, or two, to take your own life for whatever reason. We have the it's like an automatic muscle to survive, the wanting to survive. So for someone to have that strength to say, you know what, I'll sacrifice myself, I would kill myself for whatever reason, I think that takes strength. Some will say it's, cowardice. Others would say that it's sad. Some would say that that the person's strong. They'll agree with my point of view on that. But that's just my opinion. I think it takes a person to to consciously weigh their pros and cons, and if whether they weigh their pros or cons or not, but the fact that they planned out their own end, they took matters into their own hands and decided themselves that this is how I'm going to go. And there are multiple reasons on why people will commit suicide. It could be debt, divorce, um, breaking up with someone, losing a loved one, losing a job, just feeling utterly defeated. I think the ulterior, now in my opinion, I think the ulterior motive for people so against suicide, when we are young and we grow up to believe a certain thing, we don't really know why we truly believe in it, other than that's what we were taught, and how the society that we live in teaches our parents, and our parents teaches us in return. So, but I think aside from our parents or others saying that suicide is bad, and I'm not promoting suicide. I'm just, again, this is just my thought, but I think the reason why modern society thinks suicide is bad is because you can't collect money from the dead. You know what I mean? Like, just think about that right there. You know, you want to go, but hospitals, physicians, psychologists, all those professionals would convince you to stay alive, that there's something in life that's worth living for. Yes, granted, but understand this: we all have to go sometime, whether we like it or not. We all have to go sometime. So whether I live for my future now or live for my future later, what difference will it make if I meet my untimely end or timed end? Because if it was up to everyone or anyone, we would opt to live forever. We would. The average lifespan of the human being, a healthy person, I should say, is probably 85 to 100 years old. But if there was a possibility to extend that at least another 200 years, we would. But we know that's never going to happen. So the race to become rich, to become famous, to become recognized, to be acknowledged on our achievements that we made in our life, so we can matter to the people that we grew up with, or to matter for ourselves, we constantly fight that. And then when we achieve our goal or our goals, then what's next after that? And then what's next after that goal? Eventually there's going to be no goals, There's going to be the goal that you once wanted to achieve. You can't achieve anymore because you're too old. You're so old that you're bound to a wheelchair. You're so old that you can't even wipe your own self after a movement. You go to a nursing home and you just live the remaining of your days there. And when you live the remaining of your days in a home, time is ticking, and everyone that you used to know probably passed away themselves. Your grandkids are gone. But the more people that are alive means the more that someone can collect from you. You know what I mean? I have heard stories where, like cell phone companies and debt collectors went after like spouses. They went after, other family members for someone else's debt that, who passed away. And it's like that person is gone. So why should that matter? So I think when there's nothing else to collect, the government can't collect tax on a dead person. We all know in every single society, you know, democracy, communism, socialism, theocracy, whatever society you live in, there's always someone at the top that needs to collect a little bit of something from someone who works so hard. But you can't collect from anyone if they're gone. If I was a landlord, right, and I own multiple apartments, multiple homes and buildings, and I rent them out, I would get something. If that person moves away, I can't collect anything. It's kind of a bad comparison, but it's the best comparison that I could do. So to me it kind of works the same way. So the idea of suicide is, it is bittersweet. It's heartbreaking, but like if I die right now, like right after this video, there may be a few people that would cry over me. They would remember me for a few months or so, but after that, they're just going to go about their daily lives. My friends would still take care of their family. Um, if I had a girlfriend, she'll probably find another boyfriend and get married and have kids or something like that. You know, if I had kids, they'll grow up and they'll have their family and this cycle will go on. Life will still go on. So for trying to prevent someone to not commit suicide, it's it's almost it's indirectly tricking or compelling. I don't know the word, but it's like you're making someone still live the agonizing life and it's kind of unfair. It's unfair to them and it's unfair to you. The argument could go both ways. It can, but there's been two occasions where that I could remember where I try to commit suicide, and I've been physically stopped, restrained too. And it's like, why won't you let me go? You know, your money's not being taken. You're still making your money. You're still going to eat. By me leaving this world, it's not physically stopping you. Maybe mentally for a few months, years, I don't know, but it's not physically stopping you from living your life. You know what I mean? So why stop me from continuing this this uh this unbearable experience of working so hard just so someone else could take a portion of what I earn? Why continue living when there's still hate, there's still racism, there's still rejection, there's sadness, there's, you know, disappointment, sorrow. You know, you grow up to have one view, hoping that you can pass down your greatness to someone else, and then it all turns to a different path, and it's like, you know, you live your whole entire life just to find out that the seeds that you laid in the soil is not going to grow into a big tree, but it's going to turn into some type of shrub, you know? There's people that live this life where, you know, you get treated unfairly because of who you are physically, that you can't change, like being a man, you know, getting divorced. And because you're the man, you know, you're more than likely to lose in a court battle simply because you're the man. You can't keep up with the payments, you can't keep up with the alimony, and it just gets to you. And when it gets to you, you try to end your life. But there's that one person that will try to keep you alive just so you can continue paying the alimony, so you can continue the hurt, the suffering, the pain, and everything. So, long story short, what I'm trying to say is by preventing someone from taking their own life, you're still allowing them to suffer. That aside, suicide is a serious thing. It's serious. Talk to your fellow shipmate, talk to your friend, talk to your family, talk to someone. They are suffering and we probably don't know. Robin Williams, perfect example. We never saw it coming. But he did what he had to do. I will do what I have to do.